Hey folks, Kozzi here, drafting for Pick 1 Pack 1, and no, it's not a mistake. Games 1 to 3, they didn't get recorded, because I didn't originally intend for this to be a recorded draft, but the deck is sweet. And so we're going to be kicking off with matches 4 to 6 with this Elysian midrange deck, and seeing whether we can just outvalue and out-trade our opponent into a point of atrophy, where our Pillars of Amar can start to beat them into a bloody pulp. This hand's perfectly fine. Jeez, it's good. Sauropod Wrangler into a False Prince plus more, and the chance of getting more creatures with a power of 5 or greater. Yes, please. And so yeah, this is definitely a big mid-range deck rather than being a control deck, because I have filled out my curve quite aggressively to make sure that I can hit my drops on time and also just fend off the aggression that this draft is becoming known for. Might not be the case here playing up against film, but even so, we'll get in right now. Worst case scenario, they had removal, and if they had removal, then I could still afford to cast my False Prince for 3 anyway. So I wasn't too worried there. So I need to make up my mind of whether I'm willing to trade here. I think it's contingent on what I draw from the Ancient Law. I could decide just to play Frostkin first to get in the 2 extra damage, which is the more aggressive play. And even though that this is a relatively slow deck, I'm in a massively favoured position. So I'm very happy to try and press it. Next turn we'll be doing 11 damage if unanswered, and so yeah. I want to be putting my foot down right now. I need to remember that I can't levitate my False Prince. That would be unfortunate. But what I can do is keep a creature back. Indeed, this still represents a pretty decent block. I need to work out how greedy I want to get. If I Ancient Law, there's a chance that I don't draw a power card, although by the same token, I think he's pretty much priced into blocking. I'd be very surprised if he didn't, and if he didn't, that's going to be pretty good for us if we draw anything even mediocre. Okay, so we get punished a little bit there. And because I didn't draw anything that this is giving me a discount on, I'm happy to attack in and trade if they want to block with it. Okay. That's made my attack seem a fair bit worse. So, what are my options? I can hold my power back, and I can Stormlinks and levitate it to have a surprise blocker. Not super or I could Stormlinks, give it Predator's Instinct whilst they're tapped out. Or I could just Stormlinks and Eastwind Herald, and this will hold back attacks. That sounds like the best play for now. Oh wait, I should have held that Stormlinks back, although they've all got flyers, so it's not as though I've missed out on value there. We'll save this in case we get some kind of effect, so we can go wide. I have the Deranged Dynamancer, so this could turn into a 5/5, so I don't really want to trade it off. Unless I absolutely need to. Depending on what they play, I can think about Predator's Instincting in. And there you go. So I think I want to kill this right now. I don't think I want to attack in with much else. I wish I had the second primal. I really wish I had the second primal, actually. And we'll just stay in this position. I probably want to levitate so I can cycle, and I just hope I hit that primal card. They can't attack right now because my guys will just kill them on the swing back. Do I want to trade here knowing that I have the Dynamancer coming up? What I can do is I can give this flying and then I can double block. Yeah, I like that. I know that they're going to be killing this one here, but they're on so little life that I'm okay with that. Felon Stranger turns all of my cards on. Is there anything in my yard that I care about? Not really. However, if my Stormlynx is to attack and get blocked and killed, I can get it back with my Dark Return, which is pretty nice. I think that is an exchange I'm happy to make. I won't put the infiltrate creature into the yard here in case they have a Dark Return of their own. But this does allow me to start to angle to be in a better position. Especially as soon I'll have card advantage and then my creatures can get big and scary. And the killer also means you can just drop down, kill a creature, I can start to attack in. In fact, if he doesn't do anything interesting, I can do this this turn. So, drop him, 4/5 killers here. Permafrost here, attack for 5, have an overlap. It's only a problem if they have some kind of removal, but I haven't seen it. So I'm not scared in that regard. And it's worth playing because there's a very good chance that my Wisdom could find something that I'll want to cast in the same turn. They can't really afford to use the killer ability unless they're okay with me getting an overlap here. Okay. Yeah, sweet deck. I feel as though I made an early mistake there. As I said, I'm tired from doing the instructional video, so I'm not even quite sure it was, but I just get that, you know how you just get that spider sense? So I look forward to going over the video and finding out what it was. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. It's always appreciated to get that feedback. But yeah, it's the deck doing what it was meant to do. That was pretty sweet. This hand has me a little nervous because I don't have time, but it doesn't matter with what I have currently, and with Wisdom I can draw into it and I can cast that. So even though that this hand is a little slow, I think it's better than a lot of redraws. And so as such, I'll keep it. I want to play my time first in case my next 2 draw steps is another source of time and then the False Prince. But them playing as slow as me is exceptionally good news. Echo and Combray, it's probably the daggers. At least that's what I would imagine it to be. And we'll Wisdom of the Elders at the end of their turn. No point in giving them extra information about what we have. That's a little unfortunate because it can't get stunned. So do I just set him up so he can just block? Fortunately I can't. Actually, yeah, what I can do is I can set him up so he can block. If he casts something, I can attack in and then use my Wyvark to kill it. It's not maximum value, but it's better than nothing. Could get problematized if they play the Sigil and I'm right about them having the weapon. That will make it a 3/2. Do I want to play into the +3/+3 pump spell? Not for 1 point of damage, I don't. I'm not saving enough there. And so they'll represent a double block, which I'm fine with. Am I fine with? I could kill it now and see whether they have the spell, but then I don't get to use my Wyvark. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I just want to get this guy off before he gets too many war cries in. I have the colors that I need. I just wanted to double check on that because this would have hurt otherwise. And now I'm pretty comfortable with my situation. We'll start playing out some fatties, we'll draw into some cards, we'll kill that with a snowball. And we'll start attacking in, and there are some ways that they can definitely get back into this game that will hurt me, but I don't feel as though I'm in a terrible spot at all. So it's worth noting I took a small risk there. If they had Inspired Hour at any stage, I could have been in trouble, but I think I would have known it by how they would have blocked. And so once they decided against blocking, I felt quite comfortable with my position. So I'm going to get to 7 power, which will allow me to Ancient Law plus Amber Acolyte. I think I'm happy with that. I want to get some useless guys on the table. Oh, that is sweet. And next turn I can cast the Wisp and then follow it up with the Sauropod. That is super nice. I don't want to get fancy and put the Wisp out right now because I just don't want to expose it to any kind of problem. So instead we'll just do that next turn. If they attack, I'm happy taking 4. Especially as I'm going to have this coming down soon. That could represent a little bit of a problem. That could certainly represent a problem. 5 each turn is not insignificant. What I could do is try and do the same trick next time. I could attack with the Skycrag Wyvark, give a unit killer, Twin Brood. It's not good though. It's not good at all. Let's see if we can find my Permafrost, because I think that's a card that will help get me out of this. And now I need to make up my mind whether I want to keep using my sigils, knowing that I have a Pillar of Amar in my deck. I think I'd like to be able to cast 8. So in this instance, yeah, we'll keep developing. But this is going to come down to whether I can deal with this for Darkened Stuff. Especially as each power will bring it back, so it's really a case of getting on creatures that I can evade around. Could be an important turning point. A really important turning point. So double block doesn't help me here. We're winning the race if we're both doing 5 to each other, so I think I take it. And what we can also do is next turn give this Predator's Instinct to get this out of the way and to attack wider if we want to. That's a good draw for them. Okay, as you do. Yeah, this is beginning to slip away. We've drawn far too much power. Am I able to turn that into a 5/5? Oh, that's useful. Or I could turn that into a 5/5 without flying. Get rid of the 12/12 first. That's really quite useful. If they want to attack here, I'm happy to trade. Or I could represent 5/6 damage on the 9, so it's not enough. Yeah, okay. I'll keep that back to block with. We'll just get the 3 in because I can right now. And whilst they could have harsh rule, I've lost the game if I don't start to get around them. So I'm not going to play around that. What we can do is look at whether we can win by going wide. He's going to become a 5/5 anyway, so I'm happy just to get a creature off the table. And now we're looking at chumping with these guys. So that represents a bit of a problem for me. Gaining 5 life sucks, that's for sure. I really shouldn't use any more of my power. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. 1, 2. I really don't have enough power on the table to be going wide. Is there anything that I feel like I need to kill? No, I think we need to try and slow down. Oh no, he's got the 1/5. I can't do it. Okay. That countdown is sure loud in your headphones. So if he gets in and has the Inspired Hour, it drops me. I don't think I can afford to keep doing nothing, so I think we need to chump block here and just start to slow him down and see if we can find his permafrost. Once we do, the texture of this game changes a lot. I tell you what, this is an amazingly flyy deck for combo. Amazingly flying deck. Alright, so we'll ground that so I don't have to keep dealing with it in the same way. We'll use one of my more useless creatures to get rid of the flying that's been causing me so much problems because I don't want to get a Warcry. And we get ready to start trading resources, knowing that if we get one of our card draw spells, we're in an okay spot. I'm not unhappy for a trade like that. Yeah, I don't think I'll win this game unless I draw Permafrost. I think that's it. I can't afford to keep chump blocking forever. I can't afford to let him get too wide on me. I can't afford to attack in whilst he's 5/9 and 5/7 like that. Do I just ground it and make it a 9/9 again? I don't have the blocks for it. really need this permafrost. Alrighty, that's getting very close to game over. I have about one turn to draw a permafrost. I should have been keeping back those sigils for my Pillar of Amar. I can't afford to lose my last flyer because then everybody attacks in. Okay, so we found it eventually. What do we do now? I guess we permafrost and we sit back because there's not much else I can do. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. They've got... Alright, what can I draw back that gets me back into this? Pair of snowballs doesn't do it. An extra 1/3 flyer doesn't do it. 7 6s on the ground doesn't do it. He's been silenced, so I can't run him in just to have him die. It's got endurance, so I can't take the Frostkin and stun it. Basically, I need to take the Wisp and hope that I draw a 5-drop, something with 5 power or higher, of which I have the Prince. Okay. If they attack wide, I'm in trouble. Fortunately, they haven't started to do it yet. Is this a sign of the end? Yep, I can't afford to let you have an inspired hour and lose to that. Man, you've been drawing like a champ. Absolute champ. I have a choice. I can use my levitate now and try and find something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I take 3 going to 1. But what I can use my levitate for is to give the Twin Brood Sauropod flying, so I can eat their 4th Tree Elder if I'm lucky. But if I use the levitate now, I have a chance of drawing something that can help me. I think the value of being able to kill their scariest and most threatening creature is probably... Actually, but if I draw... I've got 15 cards. I've got a 1 out of 15 shot of drawing my False Prince, and if I do, I get to see a lot more cards. Alrighty, let's go for it. That's not a False Prince. When we're losing as bad as we are, I need to go for the long shot plays. And I think that'll do it. I think that is close to the most flyy Combrei deck I've ever seen. It was pretty sweet. It felt, I could be wrong, it felt like they drew a lot of action. Not a lot of dross. And we were kind of stuck. I could have used my Predator's Instinct too prematurely. I probably did, to be honest. Perhaps recording this isn't the best idea when I'm quite this tired. But there's definitely an argument to be made for that. Yeah, I feel as though I played right to get rid of his 1/5 early. It was problematic that he had quite a few endurance creatures, so my stun effects were pretty inefficient. And it was really once he dropped the huge flyer with the Vidarkan stuff, I didn't have the hard removal to deal with it. I was just preying on drawing that permafrost. And I don't have enough flyers in my deck to offer up a trade on that, and by the time I did, like, he was already at 8, I think, by the time I started to seriously look into ways of dealing with that creature. I don't think I let myself take too much damage. I think I would have been in even more strife if they would have started attacking and being a bit more assertive. Yeah. It was a solid deck. I'll say that much. We're on the play. We only need 1 power and we can start playing the Wisdoms, and we have an East Wind. Ordinarily, I don't like 2 power hands, but I think I can get away with this. Alrighty, Pineda power. We shall go indeed. Alright, so that's my first 1 out of 3 chance to make me regret my life decisions. Maybe this was dicey. No, we got away with it. We'll hold up and represent. Our opponent, whilst they don't have a creature to attack with, you do need to think differently when your opponent isn't powered down. And so there's just no reason, I guess, not to, other than a fear of forgetting, of playing it. Which granted can be a reasonable fear for me sometimes. I would like to draw 2 power. That's not bad. I have a choice. I can either attack in for 1 damage, or I could use my Ancient Law right now. Or I could be using my Permafrost as well as the Wisdom. I'm actually quite happy with this staying back as a blocker and just seeing more cards. Hopefully pumping up some creatures a little bit. And now we can start doing some shenanigans, because if I can drop the Avasaur as well as the Permafrost, bringing back a Twin Brood Sauropod on the top of my deck, then I have a lot of Twin Brood Sauropods, and that's a lot of 5/4s for any opponent's deck to deal with. So I think this next 2 turns might be a bit of fun. We might be able to do a bit of shenanigans. My options again, I could start the Nesting Avasaur chain now. It's a 4/4 flyer, which is very strong. Yeah, I think that's strong enough to be willing to be slightly power inefficient. I want to wait for them to play another Yeti Troublemaker to use my Lightning Storm. Yeah, this seems pretty sweet. It does mean that I'm not going to draw my extra power to be able to cast for 6. But I'm okay with that. I don't need to use my Permafrost yet. Do I want to attack in? No, I don't really want to expose myself to giving them an attack for 5 if they have a piece of removal. Okay. I tell you what, it would have been sweet if this would have got the +1/+1 from the Ancient. I put it back, I get extra copies of the 6/5s. That's me putting on my magical Christmas land hat. Okay, I'm not too unhappy because I have Permafrost. I also have Lightning Strike. So I think what I want to do here is attack in with my Avasaur. They may well have a lightning strike of their own, but that's okay. And then, do we want to cast the Twin Brood? If we do, then we can lightning strike if they attack in, or the Stormlinks as well, and keep up our permafrost. Yeah, that seems good. This is when they gulp, because they realise that they've only seen one Echo card, so they know that I therefore have 3 Twin Broods. Any sweet units to return? Not yet. These guys are holding him back. I think they'll do a good job of holding down the fort, and so I can just develop out with another Twin Brood and attack in for 5. Yeah, that seems pretty sweet. So my option is another Twin Brood or holding up Wisdom as well as the Lightning Strike. They could get to 7 next turn, so perhaps I want to play my Permafrost here, so they can't just draw cards. Actually, that's a real serious consideration. I don't want them to get more cards. It's not the biggest threat on the table, but yeah, we'll exhaust it. And that way we'll hold up both our Lightning Strike as well as the Wisdom. Does that not stop it? I thought the ultimates can't be done if they're exhausted. Okay, well that was a huge mistake then, based on my ignorance. Live and learn, hey? So... it's a little bit frustrating. They're powered down. I think this is the opportunity for me to attack in with everybody. If he gets tricky and blocks here, I can use my Lightning Strike and blow them out. Yeah, sounds good. And if he doesn't get tricky, then I can block cast a 5/4 as well as a 5/5, which is pretty tough to deal with. A lot of people, when they're doing attacks like this, will do the oops in the hopes of making it look as though it was a mistake. I have no interest in doing that. Do I want to kill both of these with my Lightning Storm? Not really. Not really. We'll just keep developing. I probably should have seen that chump block, and so that was a mistake on my behalf. Too busy messing around. On the bright side, my deck can make up for my idiocy. It'll cover for me. It's like the designated driver who'll take me home, nice and safe. Or it's a bit like, have you heard about the new development in self-driving cars and how that's the new bee's knees? We'll take our value here. I think they knew it was coming, but hopefully they're too dead to do anything else about it. Yeah, brand new stuff with Tesla and the like of self-driving cars that are now able to read the road with better reaction time than humans, which means that we can fit more people onto our roads, but it's also amazing for kind of democratizing traveling. The idea being that those who are infirm or those who are too young to ordinarily be able to transport themselves can now just book a car and the car kind of comes to you and takes you to where you need to be. And even the impact it's going to have on things like parking in the city. The fact that you don't need to park your car anymore, you can go straight back home. Really interesting stuff. Not related to Eternal at all, but interesting. So yeah, we're starting to go through the diamond chests, which is nice. I'll see you for the next video. I realize I'm not playing as well as I can, guys. I'm feeling it from doing the previous video, but this deck is too sweet to ignore. So hopefully my automated deck slash car will drive me safe and sound home. I've been Kozzi, or half of a Kozzi, drafting for P1 Pack 1. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you soon.